Over the past few months, we've seen an overwhelming amount of growth in our community and in the algorithm archive. This is thanks, at least in part, to the 3 Blue and Brown shoutout, so if you haven't checked out that channel already, please do so. It is an amazing channel filled with some of the best mathematics visualizations on YouTube, and I intend to return the favor whenever possible, so if you have some sort of educational content that you create online, please get in touch with me because we might find a way to work together. That said, it's been an incredibly fun few months, and I'm loving how this project is turning out. Sure, there's still a lot to do. This project doesn't really have a reasonable scope at all, but for now, I wanted to celebrate how far we've come as a community in the first installment of a series I would like to call Contributors Corner. The idea is simple. You guys are awesome, and I just wanted to make sure that that awesomeness is at least somehow acknowledged. So let's start with some of my favorite code implementations so far. Now, for the record, we've received an insane number of code submissions. Many people like JSPP, GathVL, GA, and a few others have implemented almost every algorithm in their chosen languages. That said, there were a few implementations that kind of blew me away. Like Bubble Sort in TI-83 Basic by Techno NSMB, Buttercake actually hopped on this one and did the review on a real calculator, which was kind of amazing. Of course, there's also all of GA's Scratch implementations, which are always remarkable, and GathVL has a few x86 assembly PRs in review. Jay Chen even implemented Verlet integration on Fortran punch cards. The problem is I couldn't figure out a way to actually put that into the algorithm archive, so here's just a list of all of the punch cards, but I promise it's still amazing in its own right. And again, there are loads of other awesome contributions. These were just some of the ones that I remember thinking were super cool when they came in. But we also have a whole bunch of new languages that I'd never even heard of now in the algorithm archive, and that's incredible. In addition to the insane number of code contributions, we also had a whole bunch of different changes to the algorithm archive structure, along with a few guides to help first contributors out. In addition, there were a bunch of auxiliary projects that I really just wanted to talk about. The most obvious change was made by Pedota Palman, and it was to the language switcher. Basically now, if you want to change the language of the algorithm archive, you go to the upper left-hand corner, click the button, and a grid of the different languages pop up. This was absolutely necessary in the case of Bubble Sort, for example, when we had way too many languages available. So in this case, I'm really grateful, because otherwise I don't know what we would have done when we have 100 languages for a random algorithm. This next change is in the same vein, but it's rather tricky to describe. Basically, the algorithm archive itself is on some GitHub repository somewhere. If I want to push the contents to the algorithmarchive.org website, what I have to do is take the contents from our main algorithm archive repository and push it to a second repository, which is algorithmarchivists.github.io. Now, this transfer of information from one repository to another repository basically would happen whenever I felt like it. So, if you submitted code to the algorithm archive and it was approved and put into the main algorithm archive repository, it would take maybe a week and sometimes, on the odd case, even a month before it would actually show up on the algorithm archive site. To fix this, Berquist is leading us through Travis integration to auto-build the algorithm archive on merging a pull request. Basically, the moment you get code into the algorithm archive, it will rebuild the site so that you can see it immediately on the website, instead of taking a month or two whenever I feel like updating it. JSPP has, as always, helped a lot with this project. In addition to adding a new How to Contribute wiki, which is absolutely incredible, very in-depth, and worth checking out, he also found an add-on to track work in progress PR simply by writing WIP in the title. So if you submit code, and you're still kind of working on the code a little bit, but you want to make sure that no one else works on the same implementation, just basically write your code, submit it as a pull request, and then if you realize there are changes that need to be made, just modify the title to write WIP so we know you're still working on it. Another cool additional feature here was an implementation tracker. Now when people ask, how can I help, we can point them to the tracker and say, it seems like algorithm X is missing an implementation in language Y. It's super useful. I would also like to point out that Buttercake has made a short video series introducing Git and version control specifically for this project. If you're having trouble understanding Git and version control and you want to contribute to the algorithm archive, check out these videos or look at the How to Contribute section. There is no excuse to not knowing how to use Git at this point in time, specifically to work on this project. And of course, if you have any other questions, check out Discord, because we can always answer questions if you have any. Finally, there's GathVL. He was the main developer of the GathVL library, which I can use for a large number of my animations from now on. He also created an actual Leios operating system, LeiosOS. In typical Leios fashion, it doesn't actually do anything, but it's still super cool. Now, here's the coolest part. Like I said at the start of the video, it would be impossible for me to cover all of the contributors' contributions simply because over the past few months, we got between 300 and 400 new code submissions. Obviously, with all of this new code, it would be impossible for me to review it all, so I really want to thank the entire dev team for stepping up here. Buttercake and GA did an insane number of reviews, but so did Gustorn, Gathros, and JSPP. You guys are seriously amazing. That said, there are a few updates that I've mentioned on Twitter, Twitch, and Discord that I kinda want to put a pin in for now and come back to later. See, I'm planning a large-scale rework of the text of the algorithm archive in November. I'm not saying the text is bad as it currently is, but I'm saying it could be a lot better, and I really want to raise the bar for the quality of the algorithm archive. Right now, there are a few chapters here and there that just feel rushed to me, and I really want to get those fixed. There's also a number of methods that are just kinda sitting in the ether and waiting to be made into chapters and YouTube videos. That is to say, I've done all the background reading, I just actually have to do the work and put them into the book and on YouTube. I just thought we could take a minute or two before moving on to the new methods to really appreciate where we are as a community. Seriously, thanks to everyone who's helped with the algorithm archive so far for making this project great. And now for a bit of a personal update. Between Twitch, Discord, YouTube, and the algorithm archive, along with all of the other ways I communicate with you guys as a community, I'm also balancing a full-time job as a PhD student. Unfortunately, my PhD project is moving on to its final year, which means I am severely running out of time. As much as I would love to be able to stick to some sort of dedicated schedule, that's not looking like it will be the case, at least not while I'm also finishing up my PhD. I just wanted to let you guys know about that beforehand instead of after the fact. If there's a month or two here or there where I can't manage to upload, that's the reason. I'm working on my PhD. Now, that said, the algorithm archive is still a huge motivational force, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Just want to let you guys know it might be a little slow going, at least while I'm still finishing up some real-world stuff. That said, I still really do appreciate all the help and support you guys have provided this community and provided the algorithm archive in the past year throughout its development. That said, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh, I completely forgot. This year, we will be participating in Hacktoberfest. Basically, if you can open up 5 pull requests to the algorithm archive in the month of October, you're liable to get a free t-shirt. So, more information will be available in the comment section below and also on the Discord server. That's actually it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.